is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. And now for something completely different. First, I just want to thank you all for what you do. I think it really matters. I think the federal government should be ensuring that you have predictable funding and the resources you need to make sure that people can vote. So thank you. I want to touch on a topic that hasn't come up yet today, and that's our preparedness to ensure the continuity of this institution in the face of the unthinkable happening if there is a mass casualty event, and the role that you all play in that. We have sadly seen a dramatic increase in the amount of threats against members of Congress. This committee is looking into whether states are appropriately positioned to act and to ensure the continuity of government and operations in the event of something horrific happening. I know you all have enough to worry about, but this is a topic that the Select Committee on the Modernization of Congress looked at, and I think it is one that demands more attention, and thankfully, and I thank the chair for this, and Chairwoman Bice, a bipartisan group of us sent a letter to the Government Accountability Office and to all of you and to your fellow secretaries of state asking you to participate in a report that the Government Accountability Office is doing just to see whether we're prepared. It's designed to inform Congress about your ability to comply with existing federal requirements for filling mass vacancies in states' representation following a mass casualty event. Current law is that a special election needs to be held within 49 days in the event of a mass casualty if there's more than 100 vacancies in the House. So we sent you a letter just asking you to work with the Government Accountability Office and answer their questions. Can I just ask quickly, yes or no? Will you all work with the GAO and just respond to their questions? Can I just have an affirmative yes from everybody? Yes? Sure. Okay,
yes.
Thank you for that. We will only be able to solve problems insofar as we understand the problem. So, and for you, Secretary Toulouse-Oliver, given your state's leadership of the National Association of State Election Directors and the National Association of Secretaries of State, both of whom we've spoken to about this before, could you just speak about the time and resources needed to effectively hold a special election from your perspective? And do you think the current law of 49 days is doable?
Thank you very much, Representative, for asking that question. So we actually recently modified our special election law in New Mexico. We have a 100-day time frame that's codified between when the vacancy occurs and when the election has to happen. And that was really compacting the time frame. We felt as short as we could possibly do it, with also having a well-prepared, accurate election that the voters are ready for, as well as election administrators. 49 days would be really pushing it. I mean, by federal law, we have to mail out ballots 45 days before an election, right? So that gives you 4 days between a vacancy being created, candidacies being nominated and declared, right? I mean, I just don't think that's realistic. I obviously understand the urgency of filling those seats, obviously, but it would be a huge challenge.
And the steps in the process, I mean, military voters, all of those sorts of things need to be accounted for as well, right?
Absolutely. Again, 49 days, okay, and then on day 4 of that period, you're already mailing out ballots to your uniformed military voters and overseas voters. I think that's just incredibly unrealistic.
So one of the things we're trying to figure out is, I mean, I hear 49 days and I think, man, that's a long time for Congress to be missing 100 members or more, right? Or in a mass casualty event, I mean, every time I go to the State of the Union, I think like, but for the grace of God, go we. So 49 days is a long time, and what I hear you saying is like, that would be really hard to achieve.
Again, I think as election administrators, I think we can all say we're very used to making things work. We will make things work, whatever we have to do. You are not going to have as accurate an election, and it's going to be really hard for those election administrators to make that kind of time frame work in a way that ensures, that those overseas voters are getting their ballots, not to mention being ready for things like early voting and absentee voting in all the states. Very challenging time frame, Representative.
I thank you for your response, and thank you for each of you for being willing to work with the GAO. We're trying to figure out whether there's a better way to do this. So thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Congressman Loudermilk is recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank all of you for being here. I appreciate the work that you guys do. Look, Whether we like it or not, election